Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Northern Kentucky Spotlight Podcast presented by CVG. I'm your host, Sarah Brookbank. Today on the podcast, we are joined by Isaac Hamlin, CEO of Better Blend. He was recently named our 2023 Next Generation Leader Award winner in the entrepreneurship category. He joins us to talk about his business and how they are rapidly expanding. On NKY at Work, Nancy Spivey is joined by Christi Godman, VP of Workforce Solutions at Gateway Community and Technical College. They chat about Gateway's solutions for helping employers attract and retain talent. Thank you to our podcast sponsors, CVG, our title sponsor, C Crew Consulting, our digital sponsor, and our episode sponsor, Haran. We have two leadership alumni events coming up in August. First up is the Leadership Alumni Summer Series on August 16th, and then we have the Leadership Alumni Award Celebration on August 23rd. Mike Sipple Jr. of Talent Magnet Institute, who is a speaker at the Alumni Summer Series, joins us to chat about both of those events. Now, let's go meet our members of the week, hear from our sponsors, and Nancy and I will be back with your guests.
Why would you travel to England?
For football.
To go or not to go?
That is an easy question.
To visit the land of Shakespeare.
To take in all the sights.
Authentic fish and chips.
To experience arts and culture.
2 words, British Open.
To visit my family.
Same reason I go anywhere. For a pint of beer. To start my trip through Europe.
Whatever your reason, there's no better time than now.
Ranking on Google Search and Maps is easy to understand, but hard to do. It requires constant effort and attention, uploading new photos, responding to Google reviews, writing weekly posts, and checking suggested updates. Google listing optimization takes experience and time, and there are no shortcuts. C Crew gives your Google My Business account the steady, consistent attention it needs to be effective, optimizing, updating, and expanding critical content every single week. From local retail stores to large regional networks, C Crew generates content, establishes benchmarks, and creates dramatic, measurable increases in engagement. So what can C Crew do for your business? More calls, more clicks, more clients.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. We are joined by Mike Sipple Jr., who is the CEO of Talent Magnet Institute. Mike, thanks for joining the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, so we are talking about a very exciting event, our Leadership Alumni Summer Series.
Yes.
We have our third installment of that coming up on August 16th. So tell us a little bit about this event series and what we'll be talking about on the 16th.
Yeah, that sounds great. So we've been talking about this for quite a while, and we've spent a lot of time talking to other alumni as well about what do alumni need to continue in their own growth and development. So many alumni are leading teams, are leading people, are leading organizations. So we put this summer series together to really invest in the alumni, to get alumni out. We've had quite a few classes attend, which we'll talk about here in a second. And we've really focused all on what we call the purpose-driven economy. So the workplace is moving. The individuals are shifting what's most important to them, and people are ultimately looking for purpose in a place where they can really instill it in themselves, they can understand it for themselves, and then they can bring it into their workplaces. So the first one was talking about the shift in the workplace and the talent economy, moving to the purpose-driven economy. The second one, we spent quite a bit of time talking about self-care. We believe at the Talent Magnet Institute that leaders cannot lead from an empty cup. So we have to invest in ourselves, and we spent quite a bit of time identifying where we all can get better, where we can improve, and how we can invest in ourselves. This next event, August 16th, is operationalizing purpose into your organization and team. So how do I now take all this conversation about self, about others, and bring that into my team in a way that's relatable and connects with your workplace?
Yeah, so that is very important. Like you said, a lot of these people are leading teams, a lot of our leadership alumni. So what can attendees expect from this event? What are they going to be able to take away from this?
Yeah, so it's very, it's designed in a way to help you move into action, right? So it's not just conceptual, it's more workshop-esque. It's meet your colleagues, reconnect with friends that you haven't seen in a while, from your classes, and then just make new connections and talk about what is it like, in this topic inside your organization, and what can we do to improve. So it's very, kind of a sit-down roundtable type of experience, not a talking head per se. And just engage and open up to new ideas and raise your hand and share your thoughts and perspectives.
Yeah, that is very great. And so this event, for people who are wondering, it is for our leadership alumni. So that's alumni of leadership, NKY, of Encounter NKY, and RYL. So a big scope. And you mentioned we've had a lot of people come in from a bunch of different classes.
Yeah, so I believe right now we're 13, 14 classes represented between Encounter, RYL, and LNK. We need more. We want to see you who haven't attended yet. The other thing that we've seen is individuals from their classes inviting classmates. Right. So our goal is to have this summer series, see how it goes, take the pulse, that we meet needs. Do people enjoy the experience, and then design something next based on the voice of the alumni to kind of speak into how we design this program.
Yeah, that'll be really great. We have a lot of alumni-related stuff coming up. We also have our award celebration later this summer, which will be really exciting. Can you touch on that at all? I don't know how involved you are in that.
Yeah, so one, we want to definitely plug the alumni newsletter. The goal is that that's going to be coming out as a resource to you, and we want your engagement as an alumni. So as a fellow LNK 2015 classmate, we want our voices shared. We want the class's voices shared. How can we help you with where you are right now on your journey of leadership as an alumni? And then the leadership awards is really to spotlight alumni that continue to thrive and continue to challenge the status quo and to do great things in our region, which, as many of us have had experiences inside of these leadership programs, like it really is a level step for all of us in our careers, right? I know I've experienced that since 2015 to now, and I owe a lot to my experience at LNK 2015.
Yeah, that is so great. We love our LNK alum. We love all of our leadership alum.
Yes.
For those, and you kind of touched on this a little bit, for people who are alumni of these programs, how can they get more involved in the chamber? Because you are one of our, super leaders. You're very involved here. How can other people get involved?
The one thing that I've always found is the reception to ideas is very high to alumni or to really anyone in our community. But as an alumni, if you see things that are happening, share it with us. Share with share with Dawn, share with Anne Marie, share with the leadership of the chamber. Even Dawn and I, we've been talking about this series and what we didn't know was the Leadership Summer Series before for a few years. Like, when's the right timing? What do people really want? Let's go out and meet with alumni and ask them what they're looking for, what could help them right now in their career. So the intellectually curious, asking questions, raising your hand, and then certainly continuing to get plugged in. There's also nothing like inviting your classmates to join you to attend an event, right? So it's been really cool to see members, graduates of RYL, who graduated 5, 6, 8 years ago come back around.
Right.
That's been a really cool experience. So I believe the furthest class back has been 2003, Leadership Northern Kentucky, 2003. We certainly have had a lot of classmates from 2022, 2020, and 2021, but we hope to see more. So maybe we'll create a competition at some point of which class is showing up in droves and in the strongest form.
Whoever has the biggest group picture at the alumni celebration,
there we go.
That is very fun. It's coveted. They have the little signs, and you can see some of the classes don't show up like the other classes.
Yeah,
so
right.
It could probably be a competition.
Yeah, so start here with us at the Summer Series, August 16th. And we hope to see you there.
Yeah, and for those who want to register for this event, you can register at nkychamber.com/events. That's going to be the best place to find out more information about the leadership series, as well as the celebration that we will be having later in August. But Mike, before I let you go, for those who don't know a lot about Talent Magnet Institute, give us our plug. Tell us about your business.
Sure. So Talent Magnet Institute launched post LNK 2015, right? And I'm the CEO of an executive search firm by the name of Centennial that launched talentmagnet.com. So it's all about building learning and development and team building exercises for organizations. You can go to talentmagnet.com and check out, like, for example, we have a free Leadership Foundations course. Our last class for the Alumni Leadership Series, we did the self-care survey that's on our website. That's, again, a free resource for teams. And we basically serve as learning and development department or partners with organizations and teams. That's what we're designed to do. And so it's been a great journey that I've been on in my own career. I just celebrated on August 1st, which is today, my 22nd year in the leadership and executive search space. So, but again, I'm really thankful for everything the Chamber's meant to me my entire career and what all of this means.
Yes. Well, congratulations on your anniversary. That is exciting news. But Mike, thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast. And we'll see you soon on August 16th.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Congratulations to our members of the week. You can learn more about these businesses by following the Northern Kentucky Chamber on social media, where we will highlight one of these businesses each day. Now, let's meet our members of the week. Aquasense Technologies is the world leader of UVC LED disinfection systems, using LED technology to solve real-world problems in water, air, and surface applications. Business Benefits is a family business since 1984 and is recognized as one of the most respected agencies specializing in group insurance in Greater Cincinnati. Unlock Flawless Skin at Zoe Grace Salon Med Spa. Experience Coltera's secret RF microneedling, the ultimate radio frequency technology for rejuvenation. BWF Envirotech designs custom-built solutions for industrial filtration and works passionately and enthusiastically to bring about a cleaner tomorrow. Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers in Florence is an American fast casual restaurant chain that serves steak burgers, Vienna beef hot dogs, and chicken sandwiches, along with delicious frozen custard. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. Today we are joined by Isaac Hamlin, CEO of Better Blend.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
I decided to take some time and dive into all things Better Blend and the Chamber and Northern Kentucky.
Yeah, well, I am so excited to have you on because you have recently been nominated for a whole slew of entrepreneurship awards. The Small Business Association of Kentucky nominated you for Young Entrepreneur of the Year. And you were also just named one of our NGLA finalists. So as someone who, you founded this business in 2018, tell us what advice you have for young people looking to start their own business and be their own boss.
So the big thing I tell anybody who comes to me and says, hey, I've got an idea, or hey, I want to do something in this space or make a difference or impact a sector or whatever it might be. And we'll talk a little bit about the why of Better Blend and why it came to be, but always rooting everything around that why. Because when you get 6, 8, 10, even 10 months down the line and you start something and it's not rooted in the why of why you started, it starts to fizzle, or people aren't as invested, or it's not as authentic to the community or to your audience. So I've seen concepts and ideas that were great on paper and great execution-wise, but it wasn't rooted in that sense of like, why does this matter to the world? Like, what service do they need? What product do they need that you can provide to them? And especially for young entrepreneurs, I mean, you're right. It's sexy to have your name in lights and to be, in the money or whatever it might be that people see on social media, but really rooted in the sense of like, why are you doing this? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? And why should anybody follow you?
Right. And I think that pivots exactly perfectly into why Better Blend. Tell us your story. I think it's really unique.
Okay. I'll talk a little bit about my story. So back in 2017, I played for the University of Kentucky. I played rugby for them. And in my senior season, I started making these smoothies, something that was high in protein, high in vitamins and minerals, low in calories, carbs, sugars, fats, something that would fuel me for my games. Because we would have pregame meals that were like mashed potatoes and pork chops, and we had spaghetti and meatballs and Chipotle or whatever it might be. And for some people, that's great. But for me, it really weighed on me. So I had to create something that gave me fuel, that actually made me feel better after I ate it. And I ended up coming up with this concoction that tasted like concrete and grass clippings. It just wasn't good. And I was like, I can't do this, but the efficacy, like, it's there. Like what I need is in this cup, but how can I make it so I can stomach it? So I started researching all these premium ingredients and putting together what was the first ever good tasting blend, which was the oatmeal raisin cookie with banana, which is what I still drink to this day. And I ended up having the best season of my life. Ended up being a SEC All-American for rugby. And I was like, there's a real market for this kind of thing, because the world cares about how they look, but more importantly, they care about how they feel. And if we create something that gives you everything that you need in a meal and can make you feel better, fast, quickly, and effectively, and it can taste like one of your favorite indulgences, then we could really do something in the world. You know what I mean? So we started looking for a location up in Florence, looking for something cheap, because I don't recommend this to entrepreneurs when they start, but I didn't have any money to launch off of. Couldn't get a bank loan or anything like that. It's hard to get a business loan without anything to your name when you're 22, fresh out of college. So I maxed out as many credit cards as I could, which I don't recommend, but I had good credit, so that's what I did. And it was literally do or die. And I worked at Amazon at night, and my family, my dad in particular, who's a master carpenter, would also work his day job, and then we would go build this location on our off time. And we ended up opening on June 22nd of 2018, and it just took off from there.
Yeah, that is incredible. When did you realize that it was the real deal?
Very shortly after we opened, it was something like, okay, this is something that people can find a value, because this is something people need, right? Like I said earlier, if you can put everything into a cup that is fast, it's healthy, it tastes like it's bad for you, but it's good for you, you know what I mean? And where nobody else can really do that. And especially in that time, Florence didn't have a lot of healthy options. They didn't really have a smoothie place either. So we were hitting 2 markets at once. And since then, I mean, we really haven't seen anybody that really does what we do, where we can get those complex carbs in there, those healthy proteins, those vitamins and minerals, and keep everything under 300 calories, low sugar, and stuff like that. And the way that the Northern Kentucky community accepted us is what made me think, like, oh yeah, we've got this. Like, this is an idea that we can really take off with. And we grew to our second location. We signed a lease in 2020, right before the pandemic. And Perfect timing. And we went to our landlord and we were like, hey, there's a pandemic. And he's like, hey, too bad.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
So we had to build that one out same way as we built the first one. That one was a slow start. That one scared me in the beginning, because we were right in the middle of downtown. Everybody had left downtown. And we had this brand new expensive location. And same way, we hustled through that, powered through that. People started to come back to downtown. They saw the real value in what we do. And we took off from there, and we'll talk a little bit about that growth, I'm sure.
Yeah, we will touch on that. But before we get to that, one of the things, I think you mentioned it, that you're making something that tastes like an indulgence, but it's not. It is something that is really powering people through workouts, through their days, and is healthy and nutritious. And that makes you different. But what else makes you guys really stand out from what would be a competitor in the market?
Okay. I think I could tie both of those together kind of in a way. So the way that we are able to create something that tastes like it's bad for you, but it's good for you. We get a lot of people that are coming in to Better Blend for the first time. We get people that are coming in, starting their health and fitness journey for the first time. When they walk through those doors and they're like, I need to lose 30 pounds or whatever it might be. I need to improve my life in X way so I can do X for X. Our people have a responsibility to welcome them in a way that you have a direct impact on their life forever. And I think how I was talking about that why, we drill this into our team and our culture of, you could change somebody's life today. You could, whether it's good or bad. All it takes is a little bit of effort, and you could make sure that a single mom could pay with her kids more, or have more energy to for somebody to play with their grandchildren, or have more memories, or pursue what they really want to do. But all that comes down to the nutrition of what you put in your body and how you feel on a day-to-day basis. And time is our most valuable commodity. And the way that you feel in the time that you have directly impacts the type of things you can do and the memories you can make. So that's a lot of weight and responsibility. And that's why our people get out of bed in the morning. And that's why you feel a certain difference when you walk into a Better Blend. These people really care about me, because they do. Because we all want to make an impact on the world. And the way to make an impact on the world is to impact the next individual in front of you. And that's what Better Blend does. And that's why it feels different when you walk into a Better Blend than it does maybe somewhere else that doesn't prioritize the customer service side of that.
Yeah, you mentioned before, we started talking that empathy is a big part of your business, and that kind of played into what you just said, is being empathetic to not only your employees, but being empathetic to your customers as well.
Yes. And that kind of culture it just bleeds down. So the way that we treat our customers are the same way we treat each other behind the bar. We have a policy of don't screw the person next to you. It's really simple, but it's kind of the golden rule of treat people the way you want to be treated. But we take it to a step further and put it in your face. No, we're a family here. This is what we do. We take care of each other. We're not going to screw you over, so don't screw us over. Whenever you're thinking about doing something, is it going to help somebody? And if it's not, don't make that decision.
Yeah.
Simple.
Seems pretty straightforward.
Right.
And I think that must really pay off, because you guys have seen a lot of growth since, your downtown store in 2020 that opened right before the pandemic. So tell us about the growth that you have seen over these past couple of years.
Okay. So we had the downtown store that we opened in 2020, and then we got to the end of that and we started to get that thriving. We were approached with an opportunity to go into Clifton. And I was thinking, before I had all the analytics and stuff that I have now, it's we've got a suburban store, we've got a downtown store, let's do a college location so I can see what the best customer metrics are. And that was my way of bootstrapping the way of where should we go moving forward. And so we opened our Clifton store in 2021, still in the middle of the pandemic, still a little risky, but we had to do what we could do. You know what I mean? So we got to the end of that, turned out great. And we were okay, I can keep opening 1 or 2 stores for the rest of my life, and I can have 40 locations in 20 years and have a good life, and that's awesome. But we have a real responsibility of, we can make impact in communities, and we should do that across every corner that we can. So the best way to do this is to franchise, so I can bring in people like myself who have that same drive and vision, so we can just spread this everywhere, and everybody can share in the greatness of what Better Blend is. So that's what we did. We decided to franchise 2 years ago, and took about a year to set up. And we started selling franchises or recruiting franchisees end of July, early August of last year. In under 9 months, we sold out the market.
Yeah.
So there's nowhere in Cincinnati anymore that you can put a Better Blend. Now we're looking at markets like Lexington. We sold out Louisville as well, Columbus and stuff like that. So it just exploded, and it's all people who have had Better Blend before. I just love it. They love the feel when they came in. They love the product. They're I want to get in on this on the ground floor, and it just boomed like a ripple effect from the middle.
Yeah, that is so awesome. So tell us a little bit about the locations you have and the locations that you're about to open, because it's a long list.
Yep. So we've got our 3 locations that I mentioned that are kind of the parent company, the corporate stores. Those are the first thing I started. Our 4th location is our franchise location in Mason that opened in June 24th of this year. And then we've got our Fort Mitchell location, which opened in July. And we've got Loveland opening in August. And Louisville is right after that. It'll open in September.
You're going to a lot of ribbon cuttings.
So it's definitely been a very busy summer. After that, we've got Oakley opening next year, Highland Heights opens next year, Independence, Anderson, Kenwood, 2 more in Louisville, Westchester. It's been wild.
Yeah.
I think I named them all, but I don't know. I missed one.
I'm going to take your word for it. So when you're thinking about the growth that you've seen and your goals for the future, what does the future look like for you guys?
You've got to put a number on it, right? There's got to be a mountain that you summit. And I just always put that at 1,000 stores.
Wow.
I really think the Better Blend, I see a world with less Taco Bells in the corner and more Better Blends or something like it, in a sense of QSR shifting in a way where society cares more about the ROI of what they put into their body. No shade on Taco Bell. Taco Bell's great, but I think society is shifting. And like I said earlier, how commodity is your most valuable asset. People are thinking about what they're putting in their body more now more than ever, because they know the benefits of it in every aspect of life.
Yeah. Well, Isaac, that is incredible to hear. It's awesome knowing, that people in Northern Kentucky are coming back and doing great things in our community. Before I let you go, is there anything else you want to share about Better Blend or about your story?
No, not that I can think of. If you haven't tried us yet, come in and try us. And if you're a longtime supporter, you are greatly appreciated. Couldn't do any of this without you.
Right. Well, Isaac, thank you so much for joining the podcast today.
Thanks for having me.
Hi, I'm Nancy Spivey, Vice President of Talent Strategies for the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce. On today's NKY at Work segment, I have Christi Godman. Christi is the Vice President of Workforce Solutions. I always said Talent Solutions. Workforce Solutions for Gateway Community and Technical College. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me, Nancy.
So I love Gateway. I love everything about it. It's close to my heart. So I want to think about Gateway from an employer's perspective, and especially your role and your team's role in Workforce Solutions. Tell me what that means.
So Workforce Solutions is really designed to meet the employers where they're at, identify what their needs are, and then design customized strategies to meet those needs. So that could be a combination of co-ops and apprenticeships, pre-hire testing, customized training, or just placing them in degree programs to upskill their workforce.
So you mentioned pre-hire screening, and for me, I didn't even realize Gateway did something like that.
Yes.
And I know recently when I was talking to an employer, they said that you help them kind of assess a current job and maybe rewrite some job descriptions.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that space and
sure.
And how do I find out more?
Sure. So we have what are called ACT Work Keys job profilers. So those are certified by a national entity where we come in and we detail job descriptions for you. Okay. So it's essentially meeting with subject matter experts who are doing the job very well, going through detailed lists of duties and tasks, assessing what skill level is required, and then aligning those to tests that are available in our full service testing center at our Boone campus. So through that process, you then have a job description to hire from and also to promote from within your organization, and an objective third-party assessment that aligns with all of that.
And I think from what I gather from the HR friends that I have in the community, really that plays a role in retention of candidates too, because if your job description isn't accurate,
yes,
you're hiring people for the job description, but the job description doesn't work with your culture, there could be a lot misalignment, right? And that's why
Absolutely.
People aren't successful in their roles.
Absolutely. Not only does it set you up to not be successful because you're not hiring the right fit for the role, but it's not setting the candidate up for success either because they don't fully understand what they're actually being hired into. Okay. So if it doesn't match what their expectation is on the front end, they're very unlikely to continue in that position.
Okay, so if I'm an employer and I'm interested in talking to you, I've got some challenges I'm trying to address. My understanding is there's some funds available that might help offset some costs. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes. So we do have access to a pot of funds called KCTCS Trains Dollars. Okay. And that's set aside by the Commonwealth every 2 years, specifically for employers to work with KCTCS colleges. So we are one of 16 colleges in the Kentucky Community and Technical College system. One of our colleges, Workforce Solutions divisions, can work directly with you and tap those funds for you.
Oh.
So we manage the application process. We manage the entire process along the way. We do the documentation. You don't have to worry about the paperwork. That's our job. Mm-hmm. And it offsets 75% of the cost of training, testing, as well as profiling.
And it's for any Kentucky employer, correct?
Yes, any Kentucky employer outside of government agencies.
Okay. And then help me understand how many people, employers you serve in that capacity a year.
Sure. So we probably serve about 24 companies with train spending. Okay. Bringing in, last year we brought in around $350,000 to our region with this state funding.
Oh,
so that really allows employers to stretch their training budgets much further than they would be able to without the funding.
And do you do pre-hire assessments,
yes,
other types of training? If I'm hiring, say I'm hiring a team of 10 people, can I do my assessments there and maybe schedule some interviews and other things there at the college?
Yes. So you can use our testing center for pre-hire assessment, and we can coach you through that process. Whether you do a job profile to determine your job description or say you have a really solid one and you know that you've done that recently and you know that that is what you need to hire in at, we can help you identify the right assessment to go along with that job description. So you can come in and take the assessments in our testing center, use the funding to offset that cost, and then we can design custom training plans and deliver that training for you for that group of new hires or for your current workforce.
Okay. And help me understand, where is Gateway located? I think you have multiple locations.
We do. We have multiple locations. So my home campus is in Florence, the Boone campus off Mount Zion Road.
Okay.
We also have a campus in Edgewood, right across from St. Elizabeth Hospital on Thomas More Parkway. Right down the road, we have a Transportation Technology Center, which is right on Madison Pike and Dudley.
Oh, okay.
And then we also have our Urban Metro campus, which is down on Madison and 4th in Covington.
So again, and employers can go to different locations depending on the need and where your offices are.
And
correct?
we can go to them.
Okay, all good.
So that is a
Okay.
big portion of what we deliver through Workforce Solutions is on-site delivery of training. So, of course, there's always a caveat of we have to make sure that the training space is productive for learning, right? So if you want us to teach a welding course, but you don't have anywhere at your facility where we can use welding equipment, we have portable trainers that we can typically bring with us, but we have to have the proper space. So there's always a little bit of a caveat, but most of the time we can work it out to where we can actually deliver on site at your facility.
And so that brings me to another question. You mentioned welding. So employers can actually utilize you for skills training as well, not just soft skills training,
Correct.
but also those core competencies in the other skilled trades. Tell me a little bit about the breadth of that work.
Sure. So we offer a wide range of training. One is, of course, the performance skills, the soft skills, so leadership, communication, anything in that area we can deliver very easily. We also do industrial maintenance. We do electrical. We can do automation. We can do welding. We've delivered business courses for certificate programs on site at the airport. So there are a lot of different areas. Essentially, if you look at Gateway and every program we offer under that umbrella, we can deliver training in those programs. And then we also deliver some outside of those programs as well. So we can do a full suite of lean implementation, lean simulations, different specific lean tools like 5S and Kaizen. So we work with a wide range of part-time and full-time instructors. So we'll tap into our full-time faculty base if it makes sense to do so, or we'll bring in part-time experts from the industry to teach for us and deliver this training.
Okay. Final question,
Sure.
unless you have something to add, but
Okay.
let's talk about the student population at Gateway and how, as an employer, how do I access that population?
Sure. So we use the Handshake platform for all of our career services engagements. Super easy. We always try to make it as easy as possible on the employer, regardless of what we're helping you with. So that is part of the reason we use Handshake, because a lot of our post-secondary partners in the region use it, so you're very likely already on the platform.
Very true.
All you have to do is check the Gateway box, and it'll push the jobs to our students as well.
Okay.
You can also come on campus, and you can do recruitment events. We always encourage work experience opportunities, so if you want to offer some work and learn jobs to our students, we are all about that. Mentoring services. We also have different days hosted on campus. So an example is Manufacturing Day. So in October, we always host employers to talk to students and potential students about manufacturing careers and pathways. We also have an apprenticeship academy, which is really an exploration program for students who don't really know what technical pathway they want to be in. They just know they want something technical.
Okay.
So before they choose which pathway and an employer to match with that pathway, we let them try a little machining, a little electrical, a little welding, a little industrial maintenance, and they get to hear from employers throughout that experience. If you want to be one of those employers, just let us know and we're happy to arrange that.
So the apprenticeship program that you're talking about, is that for high school students, post-secondary students?
Both.
Okay, both students.
Yes, so we started with just post-secondary in our pilot year. Last year was our year 2. We started to add in high school students. And now we are going into year 3, and we've expanded that to our urban metro campus to open access to the River City schools.
That's wonderful. I applaud you for all that you have going on in your world, and please keep those connections going because it's so important. So,
absolutely. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Hi, I'm Shannon Schumacher, Account Executive, Kentucky Market Leader. At Haran, we champion bold innovation to help employers and individuals thrive. As an industry thought leader, we explore new horizons in healthcare, benefits, employee engagement, and wellness. We work harder to deliver all the strategic benefits, planning, and execution you expect from a true partner. And we do it with laser focus on your short and long-term outcomes to help manage your benefits while improving your employee experience.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast today and learning a little bit more about Better Blend and Gateway and Community Technical College. Thank you to our podcast sponsors, CVG, C-Crew Consulting, and Haran. Don't forget to register for our upcoming Leadership Alumni events happening this month on August 16th and August 23rd. Like I said, if you are an alumni of any of the Northern Kentucky Chamber's leadership programs, you are invited to attend. That includes Leadership NKY, RYL, and Encounter NKY. You can get more information about those events and register at nkychamber.com/events. Finally, if you are a member who would like to be featured on the podcast, or if you're someone who is interested in joining the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce, please reach out to Lynn Aitlin. And if you're someone who is interested in sharing your workforce strategies and resources on NKY at Work, please reach out to Nancy Spivey. You can find their contact information on the screen in front of you or at our staff directory at nkychamber.com. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll talk to you all next week.